The Movie Preview Critic. Informing and entertaining your movie world.
What's up, good movie lovers? Welcome to a movie review for Iron Man 2. Joining me is Jonas.
Hi.
And let's just quickly mention at the top, Zen and the Art of Waitering.
.blogspot.com.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I was really excited going into this, and I wanted to like it, and I liked it.
And I liked it, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't amazing. It wasn't the best superhero movie I've ever seen, but it was very entertaining. And the thing I was worried about was that, in sequels, they always have this need to dial it up. Really to pile it on.
Okay.
And I was afraid it would turn into all slam bang action and would lose what made the first one so entertaining, which was just Robert Downey Jr. being just this complete narcissist.
Totally.
And just the dialogue, which was great, and then just him being hilarious. And I'm glad they didn't lose that. He was even more so this time around because he's a narcissist to begin with, and then he's a superhero, so now he's a super narcissist.
Right. Very unique kind of character to explore in the super. There's really no one else that's kind of like him.
Right, he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah. Where like Bruce Wayne's kind of like, oh, I feel bad about having the money, or I want to put it to good use, and Tony Stark's just like, hey,
I'm a billionaire. I'm gonna have a lot of toys. That's what all the Iron Man suit is to him. I think is just another toy to a certain extent.
Yeah, and it's almost like he doesn't have that kind of duty thing kind of going on, but not so much like a Superman or a Batman. He's much more like showing off in a lot of ways.
Yeah, pretty much. Which I think is just a really cool quality to explore. It was more the same, but in a good way. It was, the action, the things you remember about the first one wasn't necessarily the action set pieces, which were fine though, and the action here was good too. I like that there's no shaky cam. You can see, I hate shaky cam.
Yeah.
You can see everything going on, and I like that kind of quick speed up, slow down he did for Scarlett Johansson. Just quick side notes. That was kind of weird. That was an odd bit of casting, I thought, with Scarlett Johansson as the superhero. I kept thinking of Lost in Translation and Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
She's kind of locked into that,
yeah. Which I would, Vicky Cristina Barcelona probably had a much different ending if, she scissor-kicked Javier Bardem.
And Penelope Cruz.
Yeah, and just flipped her over and flattened her down.
Right. I don't know much about what Black Widow would be, I guess, because they just gave her Russian name in this one, but I think she becomes Black Widow. Or
is that what's going on? Yeah, I'm not that familiar with the Marvel superheroes.
Yeah, neither am I, but... Yeah, there were a couple times. It was very much like Hit Girl in Kick-Ass when there's that scene in the hall.
Yes, and she's just running through, just kicking everyone's ass.
And it was fun, but you're kind of like, okay, it's a movie. I guess I'll buy it.
Yeah.
But the couple shots, it's like, wow, you see how small she is. She's really short, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, it's interesting. There was a lot of things you just had to just buy in the movie.
Right.
There's a lot of things that were completely nonsensical, that his father created some new element and then hid it in the Epcot Center of his little whatchamacallit? Diorama, floor plan for the little town. That was kind of ridiculous.
And he puts a clue in there. Future answer is here, like the engraving on the side.
Right.
And it just sits there for 50 years.
Yeah, I found it very hard to buy. I found it hard to buy with Mickey Rourke when how did he arm the droids? How did that happen in the first place? The droids all have missiles and all have machine guns, and when did that happen? And who gave him access to all the weapons?
Right.
And how were they kept being controlled after he had left the building? They were still operating. So how did that happen?
So it's like you just he'd probably put something in his suit and control him. From
yeah,
there,
and it's just just whatever. I just let it go. I'm just okay, fine. This is what it's doing, and I don't care. It was still entertaining.
I kind of wish he was a little more believable as this kind of villain, because I read about he really went to a Russian prison. So it's like all you need a lot
of background info. Yeah.
All you need to be a Russian bad guy is just tattoos.
Right, lots of tattoos.
An accent,
and apparently a
vodka.
toothpick. Apparently a toothpick helps.
Toothpick?
Which is so weird. The toothpick appears in every scene. He's in jail, he's got a toothpick. He gets rescued from jail, he's in Sam Rockwell's little hangar, he's got a toothpick. I'm not sure exactly how he pulled that off.
That's kind of like the 40s gangster go-to kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It used to be a flip in the corner.
He had a toothpick when he was on the speedway. He's got a toothpick. And his character was a little ridiculous with the laser whips and...
Yeah, I didn't get with the power. Okay, they look cool, and it seemed like they maybe drained the energy, but they never explained it, and it's just
And how is that more advantageous than laser blasts?
Yeah, and how does that protect him from getting rammed into the wall
over and over again?
And he's like, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's another thing. I guess because he's Mickey Rourke and he's a badass.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's the wrestler. And he had like some kind of, I guess that had like a metal spine to it.
But the thing, and it was interesting again for casting choices, Mickey Rourke as this bad guy, and he was good, he was fine. I'm a little disappointed. I know it's good for his career that he's in a huge action movie.
Right.
I love Mickey Rourke. I love his comeback from The Wrestler. His performance in The Wrestler was so unbelievable, so wonderful. It was my hope that this would rejuvenate his career and he'd start getting cast in some really good dramatic roles again.
Yeah.
And this is not really kind of a good dramatic role, but it's good for his paycheck. It's good, yeah. So he kind of needs this. It's good for his cred.
Yeah, it's
in
good
Hollywood,
to see him kind of back making money again.
Yeah, as opposed to the Van Damme. Was it Double Team he was in? He was the bad guy in.
Oh my god!
With the Tigers, with the Bengal Tigers.
You know, I think I've actually seen Double Team.
Yeah, with Rodman.
I've kind of blocked those details from my memory.
It was either that, or it was either the knockoff with Rob Schneider. I can't remember which one he was with the counterfeit jeans ring.
Okay. Thankfully I don't think I've seen this before. I'm gonna
That's
have to.
a small Netflix. That one.
That's
a
Netflix
knockoff. It's hilarious. Please go see it.
Mickey Rourke IMDb search.
Yeah,
and just
IMDb.
knock all of his movies out.
Yep.
I think it missed a little bit of an opportunity. Again, it's just a summer movie, I guess. You know, I wish movies don't just fall back on that, like, oh, it's just a blockbuster. But there was like this cool kind of fathers and sons theme that could have been a little bit more worked out.
See,
here.
that was so generic, though. It was just like, my dad never loved me. His happiest day he sent me to boarding school. And then he sees the movie. It's like, son, I love you. You're the future. And then we didn't even. It was just so one-dimensional. I didn't even need that, really. And that's the thing, is that I didn't need. Dark Knight is Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I don't need every superhero movie to be Dark Knight.
Right.
I love this for what it is.
Okay.
It's just popcorn entertainment, really smartly executed, great dialogue. I mean, the interplay between him and Gwyneth Paltrow is fantastic.
I think the super strength of this movie is just the chemistry between really all the characters. The
they
writing
all...
and they're just snappy dialogue. You
Yep.
know, Sam Rockwell like steals the show.
Oh yeah,
he's so good.
Sam Rockwell's phenomenal in this movie. I mean, I'm a huge Rockwell fan.
Yeah.
Moon, Matchstick Men, all those movies, absolutely great.
He's like the guy who's just so good in every movie, but like he just for some reason isn't catapulting to the superstar.
No, he really isn't. I think it's because he chooses kind of quirky roles in kind of quirky movies.
Yeah.
He's never really been in a blockbuster before, and he is great.
Yeah.
He is absolutely hilarious as. Stark's, kind of his foil, his comedic foil, the guy who's always kind of a half step behind.
Kind of like the geekier version of the billionaire, where like Stark is kind of the cool guy playboy, and Rockwell's like, I got all the money.
He wants to be the cool guy
I want to be
playboy,
like you, but I just can't.
He just can't pull it off. And he does this little dance when he's about to present his droids at the expo, where he's like this kind of like it's his moment. He's shining. It just cracked me up. I loved it. He was so great in this. He was hilarious.
I wonder if there's like a Bill Gates, Steve Jobs.
I think so. Yeah, exactly. A little bit.
Like I love the scene when he's being interviewed by the blonde reporter who Stark hooked up with in the first movie, and she's kind of into him. But then Stark goes on the racetrack,
and she totally ditches him.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, there's the cool guy."
He's like, "No, wait, I've got caviar. I've got come back."
And just his description of that missile that doesn't work later on.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, this is a spoiler-filled review.
Oh yes. Oops.
Oopsie.
Yes, spoiler review. So please, too late now.
Too late now. But it made $134 million without being in 3D or on IMAX.
Yes,
so I'm sure everyone's seen it who needs to see it.
Good point. Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Just in terms of that.
I'm so glad it wasn't in 3D. It didn't need to be in 3D.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be said for just good old-fashioned 2D movie making.
Now, do you feel it was a little bit slow in some parts?
A couple of parts were kind of drag, but really not. I think it kept it going. I think it did a good job of keeping it going. There's a little bit of a drag when kind of Tony Stark's hitting bottom.
Right.
In a certain sense, that kind of when he shows up drunk at his birthday party, and although he does have that nice fight with
Cheadle,
Don Cheadle, War Machine, and who is, I think, an interesting upgrade from Terrence Howard. It's so hard. It's very hard to really buy it when they're in the suit and the mask is up.
Right.
It looks really weird when Don Cheadle's got this huge robo suit surrounding him. But it looked even weirder with Terrence Howard. That would have been, so.
It's just their vibes are so different. You know? You don't think of Terrence Howard as kind of like the ass kicker guy.
Yeah, and Don Cheadle can kick ass.
Yeah.
I totally buy that.
He's got a better vibe if you want to be more macho about it.
Yes,
not to knock Terrence Howard, but they're both great actors. I don't know if that seemed kind of forced, where he like kind of shows up at the parties like, stop it, and then he just jumps in the suit like, I already know how to use it and everything.
Yeah, I guess so. Another logical hiccup you kind of just have to get past and just swallow and go through.
A lot of second movies and comic book or whatever superhero kind of stuff, Empire Strikes Back or Dark Knight or I don't know, if even like the Two Towers and Lord of the Rings went darker, but like they tend to go a little bit dark to the darker side.
Right.
Do you think they should have, or?
I think the reason they do that is because in the first one's always the origin story.
Yeah.
That's what your main focus of the plot is on. In the second one, you don't have the luxury of that, so what you've got to do is delve into the character. And if you've got a well-written character, a well-conceived character, there's usually a darker layer to that. There's usually something darker behind the facade.
Yeah.
The first one's all cheery, awesome, let's get in the... I mean, him making the suit and all those fun scenes. And there's still... This movie was still fun, but I think they, as necessity of the sequel, I mean, Godfather 2 was darker than the original Godfather.
Yeah, and that's saying a lot.
X-Men 2 was darker than the first one, and that's kind of where you have to take it. I think they did a good job of balancing that. It didn't get too dark.
Long live good movies.